Tifa here with Fit Bully TV. Don't forget to subscribe as I continue to educate, inform, drop videos, knowledge, information about the things that we're doing as I get back into the game of participating in, breeding great American bullies. I did a video about the importance of having a great foundation female and how important the women are to the program. And, people don't show them enough. But one of the most famous pictures ever is not a picture of a male. It is a picture of Victoria's Secret from Bossy Kennel. Now, Victoria, unfortunately, doesn't have a lot of productions, but she is a specimen. So, I also screen recorded a clip that I'm going to add into this video, and it might cut in at any moment in time.
Started to look better than his brother. Started catching up on the body, so catching up on the ball. And that's when I kept him. He was originally sold and the buyer backed out. Wow. So he was sold for $10,000. I had a deposit on him. When the dog was 6 weeks, he was supposed to be paid in full. Gave the guy 2 extra weeks. He didn't pay me full. Then he calls me and he says, why would I pay you $10,000 for a Dachshund? I could buy one from Ed Shepherd for $5,000. I said, because I'm not selling you a Dachshund. He was looking at me. I thought I was buying a Dachshund Stella. So I said, you are. But I'm selling you a Stella, sir. I don't have Stella, sir. I do. I know what you can do. So the price is $10K. I'll honor it. If you don't want it, I'll send you the deposit back. He goes, well, I'd rather buy a dog directly from Ed. I said, no problem. Send the $1,000 back. Kept the dog. 6 months later, the same guy calls me up. He goes, I'll buy the dog. I said, it's not for sale for $10K. What is it going to take? I said, I'll take $50,000 for it. 5 months. It wasn't even 6 months yet. And he says, that's too much. Calls me up when a dog turned a year. He champed out. And he says, we are out buying for $50,000. I said, no, he's $150,000. He didn't want to buy him for that. We all know when he sold for $3/4 of a mil. Glad he never bought it. Glad he backed out every time. So everything works out for a reason.
But objectively, if you guys are familiar with Muscle Tone, aka Bashard, has been selling dogs for a lucrative amount of money for a long time. And one of the stories he tells, says he'll tell it, and I'm just going to paraphrase part of it, is that the guy wanted to buy a puppy from him. He said $10,000. He said, why would I pay you $10,000 for a Dax line, basically puppy, when I can go to Ed's yard and get it for $5? He said, because Ed doesn't have a bitch on his yard, aka a female dog, doing what my girl can do. There's a buddy of mine who's into Frenchies, and there's a Frenchie that one of his partner has that literally then throwing some platinums. The girls maketh the man. The girls maketh the dog. 9 out of 10 times you're betting on the female. Now, unfortunately, you can't stud a female out. But when you are trying to create and produce something magical, you need not a good bitch, a great bitch. And that doesn't mean it's going to be the first round's going to work. That means you have something to build upon, to expound upon, to better, to improve. And in this case, with the Fit Bullies, Zara is our superstar. She has a great pedigree. She has some history. You know what a pedigree is? It's really just a history of a dog and what's gone into, the dog. And when you're looking at the history of something, if there were 5 lines of fighters, aka if everybody in Mike Tyson's great grandfather was a heavyweight champion, he became one, it's inevitable that you're going to buy one. So we're selling you a dog, especially when we get to our 3rd and 4th and 5th and 7th generations, that is super capable. Zara is the foundation of what we're doing. Her puppies start at 5. Maya, on the other hand, being completely upfront honest, as I always would be, especially about my dogs, she has a few issues. She's easty-westy. She has some breathing issues. The blood that she comes from is consistent. The challenges, the consistency that it comes from, that it comes from a space of heart murmurs, aka trauma. It comes from breathing issues. It comes from quite a few problems. And I have to take the best of Maya out by adding in health and continuing to work out the greatness of her, because she's a great dog. I built up her condition. I took the time. But I wanted to jump in real quick and just discuss the importance of making sure that your female, foundationally, you understand the value of what that girl really is going to do and can do for you. And the fact that she might not be your best female, her daughter might. your foundation girl's great granddaughter might be the girl that you're like, I'm gonna build a whole line off this one. But then you got to go find the right male, and someone's got to understand line breeding, etc., etc. So that clip that I've dropped in at some point and cut myself out. Hopefully you saw Bashard talk about what the dog went up to in price because the dog continued to grow and become something great, and it was Mr. Beans who sold for over $500,000, I believe. But it's in the video title as well. And it wasn't, again, the males that Bashard and many others that know what they're doing were betting on. They're betting on the females. They're betting on the females. So I actually hate when I go to page and they don't show enough of the females because, as I said, the woman maketh the man, in this case, literally. Your dog is as good as that bitch coming off that yard. And in this case, those who have met Zara, who know Zara, you're literally getting a superstar athlete for that matter. So stay tuned. Be encouraged. If you're starting your program, make sure you do a lot of investigating on what you need, what the dog needs, if you need to know, which I'll talk about too, how to choose the right female. I'm going to cover all of that. Don't forget to subscribe. T-Fit, Fit Bully TV, signing off.